explain you about cloning. So what exactly is cloning? Cloning is nothing but forming the same object without using the new constructor. So if you have if you have an object containing a set of states and you clone, so you will get one more new object, so that will also have the same states as the object you have cloned. So that's why it's called cloning. So cloning is creating the same object of the object whichever you want. So any changes made to the new object shouldn't affect the old object, the original object. So with that in mind, let's start. So here we have this person class. This person class has a name and an age. It has a simple name and age, so that's it. So let's try to clone this one. So let's do PSU. So with this, let's do person is equal to new. By the way, let's call it ABC. By the way, the clone method is a protected method in the object class, so all class will be having that method. So ABC, and skip it 4. So if I have this one, and let's call it this one as P1, so I want one more person, P2 is equal to I will clone it. So I'll just clonable, the clone method returns an object, so I have to downcast it. So it's P1 dot so person. So I'll do P1 dot clone. Okay, so now you are getting an error called clone has protected access in Java Lang object. So see, person has this protected class already. Okay, so let me just write it: protected object clone. So inside inside clone method, so return new object. So I'm explaining what that error is. Okay, so supposing this is not there. Okay, so what exactly I'm doing here is, like I said, this class, the person class, even if this is not there, it has access to clone method. Okay, this from it extends object, right? So since it extends object, it will be having that protected clone method. But when an instance member is protected, it can only be accessed by a subclass by inheritance. So it can only be accessed by inheritance. So if this is a person, so this person has that object. So what I will do over here is I will do extends person. So if this class extends person, so I can't see, this is the parent class, right? Extends person, this is the parent class, so I can't directly call a method present so this is present in the parent class. The object clone method is present in the parent class. This person has that one. So if I want to call the person's clone method, I can't directly do something like this. So I can't do person p1.clone. I can't do this p1.clone because, like I said, inheritance protected members can only be accessed by inheritance. By inheritance. So I can access the person's clone class by doing something like this. So this one is person is inherited by clone test with, right? So I can do something like this. CLO clone test with is equal to new clone test with. So okay, I'll just give a name. So for here I can utilize the clone method. So clone, see, so here like this I can access the clone method. Protected members can only be accessed by inheritance. You need to remember this first. So over here person has a protected clone method. Okay, so so and then this person and then this clone, so this is the parent and this is the child. So if I try to access a member class which is having protected modifier directly like this one, like using the main class itself in the subclass, it will throw an error. This is the subclass. So if I try to access the protected member variable using the main parent class itself, it will throw an error. So I have to create, so that object class is now inherited by this fellow, right? So I have to create a method, I have to create an object and then I can utilize this clone method. So this is why protected members can only be accessed by inheritance. So anyways, so that's why it was throwing an error. So in order to remove that one, so this is already getting inherited, so right, so I will override that one. So I'll make it a public then, since this can have public. So now since it is public, I can person class will be having it and I can use it. So before that I need to override this properly. So overriding is nothing but I need to call the objects method objects clone method. So return super dot clone. So this is throwing an exception. For now I'll just start it over here, let it be there. Okay, so now it is returning super dot clone. So now if I try to clone, so leave this one, so leave all this, everything else. So I'll start from first. So for example, if I have this class, I'll create this object. So person p1, so next, so person p2 is equal to p1 dot clone. Okay. Oh yeah, like I said, I forgot to. We should do this, guys. We should not forget to do this. P1 dot clone returns an object, so that has to be downcasted. So PERSON. Okay, so I'll do P2 dot. Okay, I'll do SOV. That's it. So let's run this. So what's the expectation? P1 has this one, and P2 should also be having ABC and 4, and also that line should print this line. Okay, so we have clone not supported exception. So why it's throwing? Because same like that one, like serializable, you should, this person class you're trying to clone, right? So let's remove this one. Anyway, it will always extend even if I mention or not. So you need, just like serialization, you need to mark this with a marker interface. So in this case it is implements clonable. So now this person implements clonable, it means that it can be cloned. So now if I run, I will get those two lines. Okay, see inside clone method, and person p2 is okay. I think there is no equals method over here. Okay, there is no toString method over here, so I'll just add one toString and alt insert. I'll just add toString. Okay, that's it. So now I'll try to run this. See, now it is printed properly. So P1 also has ABC4, P2 also has ABC4. So now P1 and P2 are all different objects. I mean, their addresses pointing to, they are different addresses. So P1 is pointing to one, this ABCH4, and P2 is again pointing to a different object, that is ABC4. So there are two different addresses pointing to an object person having the same states. So if I do P1 out P1 dot equals P2, it will print true. So whereas if I do P1 is equal to P2, it will print false, because like I said, they're pointing to the same, they're pointing to two different objects having the same state. So P1 is pointing to a different object, P2 is pointing to a different object. So let's run this. This will print true. SC, true and false, true and false. So that's it, friends. And one more thing to remember is clone, when you do cloning, the new object is created not by any constructor call. So no constructor call is used for cloning. So that's it, guys. This is about cloning. Thank you for watching.